Hello, I'm chess expert Gil Luna. This video is on the trap in the Petroff or Russian defense. Okay, so white plays e4, black plays e5, white plays knight f3, black plays knight f6. So this is the Petroff defense or Russian defense. Knight c6 is more common, but the Petroff is played and can be played. It's a very solid defense, especially nowadays. It's been revamped. So here, white plays knight takes e5, and this is where black is supposed to play d6. And after d6, white moves the knight back to f3, and this is how black recovers the pawn. Now, there is a variation that if black plays knight takes e4, white can play queen e2. Now here's the classic trick. All right, this knight is lined up with the queen and these two knights. So after queen e2, if black makes the terrible mistake of moving the knight out of the way, white can simply play knight c6, check. Now, if you're saying, why can't I just take this knight with these pawns or the knight? It's because the check comes from the queen. As I showed you earlier, it's lined up with the king. This is a discovered check. So at this moment, the queen is lost. If black decides to block with the bishop, you can simply play knight takes queen. And if black decides to block with the queen, you can just play knight takes queen. Now, at this point, black is not lost. Black is lost after moving the knight. If black sees what's going on, like let's say you're playing the black side of this and you make a mistake and queen e2 is played, you can still save yourself. You're still going to be in an inferior position, but it won't be lost if you play queen e7. All right, because after queen takes knight, you can play d6. All right, so now the situation is kind of reversed. This knight is pinned. Now this queen is attacking this queen, and the knight is in the way, so the knight is pinned. So if the knight moves out of the way, you can just play queen takes queen. All right, so this is the way, if you're black, that you can recover your knight without actually losing too much. If white plays d4 in this position, you can play pawn takes, and if pawn takes, then yeah, you lost a pawn, but it's not as bad as losing your queen or losing the knight. So let's look at this again. Knight f3, knight f6, knight takes pawn. If knight takes pawn, queen e2, and if this knight moves out of the way, white plays knight c6, discovered attack on the king, and the queen is lost. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed this video.